Hi everyone, I hope you are all very well. It's still very much winter here, as you can see. Roll on summer. Anyway, my next little video is actually based on a request from one of my patrons, Nigel. Thank you, Nigel. Great idea. I had to jump on it quite quickly because I thought it's got to be so useful. Now, I've done several buildings before. I made a few videos of them, but I haven't done a video specifically tackling the subject of walls and bricks. So, well, probably bricks more than anything, bricks and stones. So I am, oops, let me just grab this piece of paper. I've done a very quick sketch, okay? There's a variety of walls, that being the most straightforward, if you can see it. It's just your bog standard brick effect, and then some stones. They will have like a filling inside, mortar, bricks and mortar. Is that what it is? You know. Okay, and so there is brick, rough bricks with no filling in between, and then this is a very old brick wall with a bit of leftover plaster that has, you know, the rest of it's come off. And then this one is an ancient stone wall from up north, where you see them up in Cumbria. And bearing in mind, this is very rough, okay? And this is not, I haven't studied a brick wall or a stone wall. I've just glanced at a few pictures online and then just thrown that together. So the one I saw had sort of slightly bigger stones down the bottom, going up to thinner ones. There's nothing in between, they just all piled up, and then you got these funny little stones standing upright along the top. So that is an interesting little variety of walls for you, if you fancy something like that. One thing you might be thinking is, well, once that's all engraved, they're not going to show up because, of course, everything is in front of everything else, and there's probably a good chance it's just going to be a big blur. But I'm going to be showing you probably with some black inside so that you can see each element by itself and how it works as I go around. And in the end, ultimately, I'll sell this off and someone buying it will be able to see the bricks clearer, especially if they've got, say, a dark coloured beer inside, and it'll be a bit of fun, especially for a brickie. But if I was doing this for a customer, I would probably, well, I mean, if you're making a wall or something, it's going to be in a scene. You're going to make sure that you haven't got something behind the back so it doesn't get all messed up, and so it's never really clear. You want something dark behind it, so a clearer area of glass. But for the purpose of this demonstration, I am simply doing what will look like just a pattern effect going around, but you will be able to see clearly each element as I do it, because I will put some black inside, and so for the purpose of videos it will be clearer. Okay, so without further ado, let's get building. So as you can see, to begin with, I have got white inside the glass so that we can see the black sketching. I've got a little green stone in my drill. Any stone that you happen to have. As I said a million times before, you're going for a gentle half tone just to sketch in the basic shapes. The drill is going really slowly. It's turning over quite slowly, as I say, probably about 12,000 RPM, maybe as much as 15, but certainly not high speed. And I'm not pressing very hard, I'm just bundling along. As you can see, it's making a gentle outline of everything. And I won't even stick exactly to this outline. It's just a basic guide, if you like. So now that we have finished that bit, I've taken the paper away and you can see very clearly all the lines. I have in the drill now a lovely large diamond burr. This is a sintered burr, and that's sintered. Grit all the way through. I'm pressing relatively hard, and the drill is going at a higher speed now, probably at about 40,000 RPM, but you know, you get used to what it feels like. You get used to the speeds. Lots of water as per usual, and one of the things this is definitely doing for me at the moment is keeping the dust down, but you can still see the dust flying about because so much is being produced by this diamond. This is a very cheap old beer glass, and well, it's not old, it's new, but it's just a cheap beer glass, but it's quite substantial in the area that I'm working, so that's not a bad thing. I can really get stuck into it. Now you will see that the cement area in between the bricks, I have gone pretty deep, but then the bricks themselves, I have kind of roughed them out with a variety of strokes, so that just gives them a bit of texture and, you know, a little bit something interesting, some movement going on that the rubber will later pick up. And I am leaving a slight ridge between the brick and the cement mortar, or whatever it's called. And there's a reason for this. When I later on go over it with the final rubber, the rubber will pick up those ridges, but it will leave the deep cement area, and that will remain white. So it's all great fun. It's really, really interesting, and that's one of the beauties of being able to engrave deeper. You can see that it is fairly deep. I've just got some white tack here to show you roughly. I love doing this, it's a bit of fun. Now this is an old ordinary white stone. It's not a Jura white or white Arkansas. However, look at this. This is beautiful. This is a genuine, large, white Arkansas or white Arkansas, wherever you are from. This is a beautiful, beautiful work of art. I am not calling it a Jura white because Jura white is a brand, and this has been made by the husband of one of my patrons. I am so thrilled. For years and years and years, I've been trying to find a decent size, large white stone. And here you can see the original. I only have a couple, and I've had them for years. And I just never use them because I don't want to wear them out, because they are so precious, you cannot get them. I have tried, other engravers have tried, and they are just no longer made by anybody. So that is why I am so thrilled to be able to get my hands on something so precious. And thank you to my patron Erin for the privilege of testing this beauty. Fingers crossed, and best of luck to you both in the making of these. As you can see, comparing the two, they are identical. Well, they are the same stone. And here is a rubber going across the two with exactly the same effect. And a slightly different rubber, again, identical. Absolutely brilliant. So thank you ever so much, Erin, and your very clever hubby. So now you can see the light coming down the side, showing very clearly the depth of the engraving. And now, as I mentioned before, by running the rubber over the top, where obviously of the lovely stone, which has neatened out all the upper edges with a soft tone, and this rubber is instantly darkening them. It is also slightly picking up the middle of the bricks. I'm not really concentrating on them at the moment. I'm mainly concentrating on the mortar part, or the divisions between the bricks is where I'm concentrating. And here I have got slightly smaller soft grey rubber, and I'm twiddling around in the middle of the bricks, picking up some of those undulations that I left in order to produce a sort of a mottily shaded colour. Right, I just thought I would finish off the bottom here because it was just looking a little bit messy. You can see how I've turned the glass. You turn it to get comfortable, and it's easier to create a straight line coming towards you, sometimes going away from you, but certainly not side to side. Now, I have to apologize because I gaily did this whole wall and then realized that my camera was not on. I had been distracted and I just, oh my goodness, I'm really sorry. So I am very simply going over a couple of these. I have got a wheel that is fully diamond. It's actually a sintered one, but of course you can get similar sort of wheels with diamond coating. And because of the wheel shape of it, it produces a lovely sharp edge. And I don't know what kind of stones these are, whether they are flint. I know that some of them have quite sharp edges. So as you can see, this produces an instant angular piece of stone, perfect for the job. Such an easy thing to do. And I've just done it quite randomly, so I apologize to all those wonderful stone builders out there. They're probably looking at this and tearing their hair out because it's not quite how it's done. As I say, I have not studied a wall, but they do look roughly something like this. And playing with my little bit of white tack, and there you can see how deep I've gone. It's amazing how they seem to do this. They're not held together by anything. They're just stacked there. So here is this beauty. I've got my beauty stone and running over the edges of these deep stones. You can see they are really deep, and I don't want the edges to be clear or chippy, so this beautiful, beautiful stone is just getting rid of that and leaving me with a lovely soft half tone in between. You can, of course, use other stones if they have a sort of a roughness to them. Run them against another stone, and sometimes that will help get rid of some of the little bits that are protruding and making them rougher, and sometimes that works for a while. You can also use a very rough rubber to do this, but I would say definitely use a stone or a very fine diamond, certainly not a coarse diamond necessarily, but something fine over the top, just to bring it all to the surface. And of course, so that by running the rubber over it like I am doing now, this is a rubber disc, it instantly makes it very, very dark. It's not very clear at the moment because there's dust all over it. It's that rough that it's chewing up my rubber, but you will see when I clean it off that these edges are quite dark. This sort of effect can be used for rocks, of course, cliffs, that sort of thing. Now I have got my softer grey rubber, which I'm putting into the stones a little bit to give them a little bit of variegation, and quite frankly it's struggling to get into them because they are that deep. So we've got quite a long way to go still, and I will make another video that will cover the rest of this glass. Thank you for watching, guys. See you soon. Bye for now.